Hello, I'm Doug and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel, and you have stumbled across this channel just as we're breaking into day number 9 of this whiskey advent calendar. This is several years old from Secret Spirits. I know that they're mostly single malts or high quality blends or interesting bottlings by independent bottlers. So I'm looking for the little disc that says 09. I'm going to break into it and get out the whiskey and pour it. So I'm tasting these blind, sort of to test myself and see what I've picked up over the years. So I've got the bottle here. I will be pouring out 25 milliliters. And then hiding it, so I can't read the label. There's a little lens hood here, it keeps me from seeing what it is. So the 25 milliliters goes into my glass, and the rest of the bottles go into somebody else. So I meant to bring a whiskey coin, always unprepared, always disorganized. Look. I'll set my water on top because I want this to set for 10 minutes before I go tasting it. Okay, this particular whiskey has been sitting in the glass for about 10 minutes and I got nervous with that water on top, so I switched over to a challenge coin from It's Bourbon Night. And this coin is Kentucky. They're planning in many more states. So thank you, Chad and Sarah. And I guess we'll get into the whiskey. Wow, that's darker than it ought to be for a non-colored Scotch whiskey. So I'm thinking some finishing or some maturation in a sherry cask or something. Oh, yeah, I think the nose is consistent with that. There is a maltiness. Give me some room. There's a maltiness in it. There are a few notes, kind of like a sherry cask, but it's not sweet, it's not all that fruity. It's more of the funkiness of a sherry cask, maybe some of the sulfury notes coming through, and my nose is not the best detector for all this stuff. My taster works much better. I'm getting some ethanol, I'm getting some graininess. A good graininess, something you would want to eat. But I don't really have a term for it. Okay. Diminishing returns from the nose, but it's interesting, different than many whiskeys I've had. This is not a typical Scotch on the nose, or even a typical malt whiskey on the nose. It's just got something that's hiding, obscuring, papering over the malt notes I was expecting to get. So let's start tasting. Woo! High ABV and sherry influence, or some kind of wine. Wow! Wow! 60% plus. Very hot. And it's not quite sherry notes. It's some other kind of fortified wine. Something with quite a bit of flavor. Could be sherry, but I'm not getting the dark fruits of an Oloroso. It's got some sweet notes to it, but I am not going to drink it at this strength. I'm going to add some water. So I think it's above 60, and I can probably get more flavors with a little water in it. So I'll let that mix up a few seconds and see if I can pick apart more things. The nose is a little different. Honey, caramel, toffee, caramely nose. Sugars and brown sugars and burnt brown sugars. And a kind of graininess that I got earlier. Oh, wow. That was nice. That's still pretty strong. But there's a fruitiness. It's consistent with the sherry, but it could be something else. Some other kind of wine. It's pretty clearly in there. And it's still stronger than the malt tastes. I'm not getting a lot of malt flavors. And it's a pretty strong peppery finish. So I'm thinking some kind of European oak. It's a tad salty, but not otherwise marine. So this could be anywhere in the Highlands, Speyside. Wow, that's still so hot. I'm going to add a little more water. This is interesting, flavorful, not malty, not very herbal or vegetal at all. The nose was giving me sweeter notes with the water addition, but not really the palate. There's this influence of a sweet wine, a sweetish, sweeter, even a white wine, light wine. Red wine, but not necessarily fruity or nutty like a sherry. There's just some vague fruit notes. Yeah, the nose is lightening up into grainy, sweeter, caramely things. This is honey, pretty. Yeah, I got the ABV down where I don't go, ha, hot, hot, hot. And it's a nice Speyside-like honey note. This is the main thing. Is there a maltiness? Maybe a little bit. And I'm still thinking not quite sherry notes, but something close, something tasty, something with a vague fruitiness. I think it's some sort of wine cask finish, but it's not tasting like sherries I'm familiar with. So very tasty, very enjoyable. Be sure and dilute this one a little before you go looking for flavors. I think it's probably 10, 12 years old, maybe as old as 15. I'm not getting a lot of oak notes or wood notes other than spiciness on the finish. And the sherry or other wine that's overwhelming any kind of maltiness. I think it's younger, but not really spirit driven because of the influence of a first fill cask. The wine is overpowering the malt. Just a guess. That's a lot of words for something I don't know much about. Oh man, just tasty. That's great. So I want to read it while I still have a drop left. sip or analyze. And what do we have here? AD Rattray, 2007 Glen Moray 8-year. Ah, here it is. Sherry butt, region Speyside, 64.8%. Whoa! So I'm thinking I got that pretty close. I was right on the age, right on the finished part of it, right on the region, and the ABV was higher than 60. So even a blind pig finds a root every once in a while. So this is wonderful. Glen Moray, 8-year-old from a sherry butt. It's 64.8% ABV. So that is impressive, tasty. The sherry is working pretty well with that particular malt. That's impressive. It's I got some malt in that one. Okay, that was good. But I had to look and look and look and look to find malt in an 8-year-old spirit. That is a lot of cask influence. So, oh yes, this has been fun. It's been quite a journey, quite a trip. So again, like the video, leave comments, leave questions, and subscribe, and click that bell to get notified. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. So come back for that, and cheers.